Hello, I'm Bonnery.
I'm Bread Mower,
and this is IFXtra. So, how's everyone this week? Have you had a good week? Had a day off today, got a haircut, that kind of thing.
Looking very beautiful.
Thank you. What have you been able to do this week so far?
Okay, various bits. The most interesting part in terms of game dev is so streams and things have been like a little bit glitchy recently because the computer we run all this stuff off is like my main development machine, which I'd sort of messed up slightly. So we've rejigged some stuff around. I've spent like days sorting stuff out. We've got a dedicated machine that we're doing streaming and video stuff with now over here, which is separate from my development machine. So it can't mess up that and that can't mess up this. But also, yeah, my like dev machine I've just been using for like 11 years now or something, I think. And it probably hasn't been sort of cleared up properly in like the last 5 years. So I've reformatted that, reinstalled everything nice and smooth now. Advantage is it's fixed all of the little issues we're having. So the thing that broke the other week where I couldn't build the mobile app to test on Android, that's fixed now. So we have to get that app update out by the end of the month. So Android app update is going to be in the next few days just because it needs to just be done and out of the way. And then any little snags and things we can sort out afterwards. And we'll do the iOS one as well. So yeah, that's sort of the dev stuff. Is it's all sort of boring admin stuff, but now we're in a position where we can get moving with things properly. The other thing is there's been a big discussion happening, well, originally on Discord, but I've moved it into the forums, about AI art and whether that's appropriate for IRL games. So some of you might not play the IRL games. The gist is rather than being given a prompt and having to draw it on the website or in the app, just using our normal canvas, we give you 24 hours instead of 10 minutes, and you're basically tasked with, here's a prompt, just do it in some way. You know, if you want to draw it with pencils, charcoal, you want to do
painting.
Yeah, a painting with watercolors. You want to do it by sticking bits of pasta on a bit of card. Yeah, cool. And it's been really good. Now, this was originally an April Fool's joke, which we did, I don't know, 5 years ago or something.
At least, yeah.
And the problem is the games have been popular, but because of the extra time commitment, fewer people play them. And it's also partially my fault because they weren't in the mobile app until recently.
They take longer to finish as well, don't
yeah,
they?
so they take longer to finish. But we've seen some amazing things. I mean, talking about watercolors, one of the first games, there was this amazing watercolor tiger, like absolutely beautiful. And someone painted it, took a picture of it, put it into the game. And yeah, it's great. And that's the kind of thing that we want. But we saw all kinds of things. So like people getting a prompt and then recreating it with like little models or, you know, Lego figures or whatever on a background, taking a photo of that, uploading it. Really creative stuff, and it let people express themselves creatively
in different ways.
Yeah, in different ways. Creatively in different ways. And yeah, it was great. We saw all of this really awesome stuff, and I loved it. It was exactly what I had in mind, with big mixture of different things. It was very cool. And then we come to 2022, or I mean, more specifically, the last few months.
Yeah, not long ago.
So basically, AI art is a thing now where there's various websites. You go on, you stick in what you want a picture of, it thinks for a minute, and then spits out a picture. And we started seeing a few of these in IRL games, like starting a few months ago. Just, you know, like one or two here and there. And it was kind of interesting because it was something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you could quite clearly tell that they were like AI generated because like they weren't, I was going to say as good as, they weren't like proper human generated pictures.
People have their own styles, don't they?
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
often recognise different artists and how they do things.
But, you know, so we saw, well, I mean, it's sort of interesting. You know, it's a different art style coming through here. Okay. Spin on to maybe a week or two ago. we're starting to see maybe like IRL games finish and 50% of the drawings in them are AI generated.
The same person's doing them over and over again, aren't
There's a group of people that are doing a lot of them,
they?
which is kind of fair because we haven't said
Can't use
that
it.
you can't do it. But the problem is the rate at which they're coming in now is so quickly, and it's not right. So the difficult thing about this is there is a legitimate use case for this. For example, one of the have I said there's a big discussion on the forums? There's a big discussion on the forums. One of the interesting points that's come up is maybe this is just, a change in technology, like how draftsmen used to work at like a drafting table and do blueprints for things on by hand, set squares, T-squares. No one does that anymore. You just use AutoCAD. Yeah, okay, technology does move on. There's still skill and
creativity in that.
Involved in that, yeah. The problem with this AI stuff now is we are seeing people be given a prompt, they copy that, they paste it into a website, press a button, an image comes out, then they upload that, and then they do another one, and another one, and another one. So we've seen one person, like a few days ago, one person did 9 IRL prompts in about just under 20 minutes. So it was like 2 minutes per image.
Not possible to actually make anything in that time.
Yeah. And it's just boring.
And it's not their work.
Yeah.
Not their work.
And
they haven't put anything into it.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, a counter argument for this is, yeah, but it's a tool. And that I'm okay with. If it's being used as a tool, like, for example, and I'll call out a specific person here because they brought this up in the discussion, so I'm sure they don't mind. Pointy Cat Ears. Pointy Cat Ears submitted a few IRL things that have been generated with an AI art generator, but they then added things to it themselves. They changed bits, they painted stuff over the top. That I'm down with that. That's fine. You've looked at something and then applied your own creativity on top of that. Yeah, no worries. That's all good. And a few people mentioned about time saving and things like that. Let's say, for example, your prompt is a spaceman lost in space, an astronaut lost in space. And you go, all right, let's get an AI art thing, a planet in space, and it spits out that. And then you use that as a background and you then draw in Photoshop, or maybe you do a physical astronaut in paper, cut it out, scan it, overlay that on something. Okay, yeah, maybe you're not interested in doing the background. You've got a nice space background that was automatically generated, but you've then actually done something yourself. That's cool.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
But literally, get that, Control V, Control C, Control V, take the result, upload it. That's not cool. And like spamming out like every 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's not your work, and it's not interesting.
It's not interesting.
No.
Because we've discussed this internally. Like I've had a chat with you about it earlier today, and because your thing was the lack of creativity, really.
Yeah.
I know Ferret's mentioned in this thread as well. There's a secondary issue of a lot of these AI things were trained on artwork by actual artists, and so it's sort of mashing things together to come up with something. But all of the stuff that was fed into it that this is based on is uncredited. So, okay, that's kind of like how the brain works. Like if I tried to draw something, I've probably subconsciously picked up how things are drawn and this from looking at other people's pictures, and it would be inspired by that. But
you still have to do it yourself, though, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so there is like an attribution kind of issue. But yeah, I'm with you really. Like my main problem with it is there's just a lack of creativity. It's just not
your work,
interesting. And it kind of really sucks because we've seen some really awesome things in IRL over the years. Like say watercolors, all kinds of things. And now we're at the point, like as of this week, we're seeing games that are 50% AI generated. And I think literally in a few days, it will be at the point where entire ones are just AI images.
So we don't need any artists at all. We can just do that ourselves.
Exactly. So what's the point? We might as well cut out the middleman. I could just change the system so someone puts in a description, it automatically gets fed into an art generator and that picture put in, and then someone describes that and we just automatically generate all of the art.
Yeah,
but then,
pointless.
I mean, why bother asking people to describe them as well? Because there's image recognizers out there where you give it a picture and it tells you what it thinks in it. So someone could just pop in a prompt. We could feed that to an art generator, take that and then feed that to an image recognizer and then do art with that. And, you know, we just, hey, put in a description. Okay, right, your game's done 2 minutes later.
Pointless.
Like, I mean, we could probably just have a random word generator generating games. Like, literally, what is the point?
Yeah. It wouldn't be needed.
If it was being used as a tool to further people's ability to create things, awesome. But it isn't. Well,
not in this case.
Some people are. Some people are, and that's okay. But on the whole, it just isn't.
No.
It just isn't.
So what can we do about it?
I don't know. The problem is, until recently, these things you could easily identify as AI art because there were things you could notice about them. But they're getting really good now, like really good. And it's difficult to tell. And this causes us a problem with moderation as well, because IRL, because you're uploading a photo, we have to manually review all of those because it's the internet. People will upload photos of things they're not meant to upload. So we have to review all of these manually. And it used to be okay because we'd get a few in, like, you know, one or two in every day because people were taking the time with them, they were actually doing something. But we've got the situation now where the entire IRL queue is in moderation because someone's just spammed their way through the whole thing in, like, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour. And so it's unmanageable. And we don't really have a way to automatically detect these because they look enough like human art. I mean, I can tell that they're not based on how quickly they're being generated and who it is that's doing it. But we don't have a way to automate this. So I don't really have a solution other than...
Get rid of IRL. Is one.
I mean, that sucks because we've seen some really good stuff come out of it.
Or ask people not to do it. Another one.
I don't think people will, is the problem. I think some people will. They'll go, oh, okay, I was just doing it because I thought it was okay, but fair enough. But some people won't. Some people will keep doing it because you won't be able to tell it hasn't been done by them. And people will be like, oh, that's an amazing picture. Oh, like. I mean, hollow likes because you haven't done anything.
They get the fix though, don't they?
Yeah, but it will make them look cool. So some people will keep doing it. And I don't have any kind of real solution for this other than, I mean, it was an April Fool's joke. We ran with it for half a decade or something.
Maybe it's time to retire.
Should we pack it in? Because otherwise it's just going to be a load of AI generated stuff and it's not interesting. So...
You don't get the funny bits where people misinterpret things and that, do you? It's just going to be the same thing all the way through.
So... Yeah, I mean, we haven't made a decision on what to do
yet. Want to know what you think.
I'd be really interested to find out what you think. As I say, there's a discussion in the forum called "Should AI-generated artwork be allowed in IRL games?" or something along those lines. It's a general discussion. As you can tell, we're kind of down on it. I've been getting more irritated by it over the course of the week, to be honest.
There's a lot of it there at the moment.
Because we had a nice thing and it's been spoilt. Because, you know, this is why you can't have nice things on the internet. Someone spoils things for everyone. It's difficult, isn't it? But anyway, I've been wrong about stuff. I'm wrong about stuff every day. It could be that someone has a really compelling argument for why this is actually legit and we should be doing it. But
we'll wait to hear.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know in that forum thread. We'll probably have to make a call on it in the next week or so because
kind of spoiling the game.
yeah, and apologies for the fact that there are very few IRL prompts available. It's just that as soon as there is a prompt, someone then spams in an AI image for it. So.
Another in the queue.
Yeah, we review them when we can, but it's a manual process. Sorry. Anyway,
So,
so yeah, that's it.
okay.
Sorry, rant over. So I say rant. You know, we like to
Discussion.
discuss things rationally, and everyone's opinion is welcome, and then we'll sort of see what we think and do something.
Okay. Yeah. Right, now let's go and see who won this week's awards. Picture of the week this week goes to Zimvivi for Turtle Here's a Rat Explode. I just love how he's listening. He's got amazing hearing. It's like, oh my God, did a rat just explode? How does he even know? And I love the shadows underneath him while he's in the water. It's brilliant. Well done, Zimvivi.
My favourite description this week was party. Unfortunately, my camera's charged at 3% by Mania. Yeah, isn't that always the way? Something really interesting about to happen and then the tech goes and lets you down. I guess the moral of the story is always have a portable charger with you. Nice work, Mania.
Community pick of the week this week goes to Canabita for Broccoli Woman. I can see her having her own cartoon series. She looks amazing. Love her hair. Well done, Canabita. They were amazing.
Awesome stuff there, as always.
Now we're going to see what we were talking about last week in the forums. So last week in the forum, I said, I've never made a playlist. So what's on yours? Do you have different ones for different situations? I mean, you do, don't you, sometimes?
Yeah, I've got a couple of playlists. I've got a running playlist where I've got like varying BPM tracks, you know, sort of like, some
down,
fast stuff for when I need to speed up, chilled out stuff when I'm having a break. That's quite nice.
Yeah.
I got a learning playlist and a working playlist. And because of how my mind works, they're basically a single track which I have on loop for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever. So if I'm learning, I have Vernix Area by Viard. And if I'm working, I have the BBC News theme on loop for all day. But it's really good for focus. Yeah.
Okay, Loco Louis says, my master playlist has a lot of everything except for tropical music, EDM, trap, and a few blacklisted others. I don't know what trap is, but I'll have to look up for that.
I mean, I know what EDM is.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. I have a playlist especially for anything Celtic sounding, like from the Dropkick Murphys to Flogging Molly and the Cause and Bordemar, not heard of those. They're an instrumental band from the Chilo Islands, which combines Chilean music and Celtic music. I don't have Celtic roots myself, but I love their music. I love long instrumentals and songs with long instrumental intros, particularly the peaceful sounding ones. They help me relax and concentrate because I'm quite absent-minded and easily distracted.
Now you see, this is like me. I can't have music with words when I'm trying to concentrate because it just distracts me. Yeah, that's a thing. I recognise some of those names though.
Oh yeah. You've heard of those,
yeah. Okay, Magake Guwa says, I'm not a playlist person either, but one foggy autumn morning, I listened to a song called Afterglow by Eric Pojona, and there's a YouTube link in the thread. I thought it'd be fun to make different playlists based on what time it is. That song sounds like morning to me.
Oh, that's cool.
It's quite an interesting concept.
That's how you associate different things with different times. Yeah. Good idea. There are a lot of quite long replies to that forum post, so if you want to have a look, they're very interesting. But,
a little side point though. I mean, you know, we're sort of old really now, aren't we? I remember when we were making playlists when we were younger, they were mixtapes, like mixtapes. Literally on a tape, and you'd like record a few tracks on there, and then you could like write out the track listing and give it to someone.
Okay, now we're going to see what we'll be talking about next week in the forums. What is your favourite drink? When I'm really thirsty, I think you can't beat ice cold water. But if it's chilly, I love a hot chocolate. And if we're out for a drink, I do like a vodka and cranberry. How about you?
If you'd like to chime in with that, just head over to the general discussion forum. It's the pinned thread for the week, so you'll find it at the top of the thread list.
Cool. Now don't forget, tomorrow night is Zeitgeist Night. Time for a quiz. 5 rounds, 5 different topics.
Yeah, if you've not seen this before, every Sunday night at 7 PM UK time over on twitch.tv/Interference, we run Zeitgeist, the Interference quiz of the week. It's our live interactive quiz stream where you play along against the rest of the audience, competing with points and places on the leaderboard. Each round is based on one of the week's drawings of Interference. Bunnery picks 5 of her favourite drawings, using them as inspiration for the rounds. And so if we have a drawing with a seagull, might have a round on seabirds, seaside resorts, things that steal your chips. We don't find out what they are until the night, but go on, tease us with the featured artists.
Well, this week I've chosen some awesome art from Underscore, AIDA, Amvol, MCSC, and Star Designer.
Okay, bit of a
fascinating topics.
Okay, so if you want to find out what topics they're going to be, you have to join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK, twitch.tv/interference.
Yeah.
But what happened last week?
Last week, Puzzgal won with 225. Wow, that's almost perfect. And then Leafter was second with 182, and then Darth was third with 176. So Puzzgal ran away with it. And then on Thursdays, we had Zeitgeist 20. So 20 questions just on one topic, and you get pre-warned what the topic is, don't you?
Yeah.
Last week, we had Complete the Title. So you had to complete the title of songs, plays, films, all kinds of stuff. And the winner was Darth with 208. That means she got them all right. El Guapo was second with 202, also got them all right. And then Shadow Champion was third with 192. And those extra little points come from getting the fastest answer.
Yeah, so
Darth
and El Guapo both getting them all right. Yeah. It's just the speed that made the difference.
Exactly. So next week's Zeitgeist 20 is entitled Business. That's all I can tell you.
Business.
Cool, drawing by Cookie Crumble as well.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
I wonder what that could be. Interesting. Well, if you want to find out, join us Thursday, 7 p.m. UK on twitch.tv/interference.
Yeah, that's all our news for now, so it just goes to say.
Yeah, if you're not already taking part in the game, then get involved. You can join in on the web at playinterference.com or search for Interference in your store on your device. You can download the app. You can also get social with us. We're on Twitter at PlayIFX, Facebook at PlayInterference, and Patreon.com/interference. If you want to give us a bit of monthly support for the ongoing maintenance of the game, building app updates, building all kinds of cool things like new game modes, more interactive quizzes and things that we want to do for you. We really appreciate your support. You get supporter status in Interference. So you get cool things like replays, the new game modes, all that kind of stuff. And if you're a quiz player, you get a custom entrance shout out from Ava.
Cool. Wonderful. Okay, that's it. So we'll see you again next week.
Yep. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.